Before I forget, deed fraud is happening again, just so you know. So if you get that phone call, hi, this is John Smith, I own a lot in Vegas that's paid for, I want you to sell it for me, and there's no mortgage on it, do some homework, you know. Heather will pull a list before you.
No, before you list.
Know before you list, you see, you know, get some ID from the guy or girl to make sure they say who they are, especially because they're not gonna be here, of course. They're gonna be in another country, and they wanna sell the property, so that's happening a lot more too. And we're up to 9 unrepresented buyer offers so far in the last 3 weeks, so they're coming. There's one here Patrick gave me, just so I want you guys to look at it, take a picture of it. This is what he actually got in an email on one of his properties. You know, and the best part is, it says, seller will get, cash to seller, $500.
Is it bad if you just delete those?
No, you gotta respond. Well, yeah, you could, I guess. It's not from an agent, it's from, you know, but I would, you know, I mean, we have one that's actually working. I think it's Michael Nelson. He got one, and what he did, which he listed, even though he doesn't come to the meetings, he watches the videos, he responded with a counteroffer, which is the RPA. That's what you gotta do. Not a regular counteroffer. You gotta fill out the RPA, but put in the terms of a counteroffer based on this, and then the deal went away. You know, it was alive for a little bit, but then they didn't like the terms or whatever it might be or whatever, so just be careful. This stuff is happening. When you get these, just email them to me or Wendy. We're gonna have a little collection of these things. And we're gonna see how many we end up getting here, you know? So, that stuff is happening.
It was a offer.
Anybody else get some of these that you didn't tell us?
I'm getting them on my own properties.
On,
My own properties?
well, it's a listing, right?
But they're always
Yeah, by listing in MLS.
asking.
No. My
Oh,
own
out of the
personal
blue.
my own personal property.
Oh, so they're just finding you in a tax record where you
Oh,
want to sell?
I throw everything away.
Yeah, it's good, okay, thank you. But these are actually on properties we have listed, so that's what makes them a little, not trickier, but we have to comply with certain things, whatever. But maybe don't just delete them, right, because, you know, it's,
So are we obligated to show our seller all, does this include it? So you know how we say we show our sellers all offers, we just do this?
what do you think?
Probably.
Yeah, probably, pretty much, yeah, you gotta show them everything. Yeah, you gotta show them everything.
I only show them the ones I like.
Yeah. We have one deal that came in yesterday, the offer came in.
Girl.
The art listing agent went to the property and met the husband and wife. They didn't want to have an agent. They made an offer $50,000 below in an email. He just rejected. Day later, he gets an offer, cash, from an agent representing the same buyers above list price.
Love place.
So he's a little nervous, like, so he Googles the buyers. Woo! Lawsuits, you know, incarceration, you know, fraud, all this stuff. So he
I
did
think I know
homework.
that guy.
I think I got it pre-approved.
I think he worked at he used to work in Otero's office, a couple years ago. He was real. So especially you newer agents, even us, we're getting these crazy texts. Hey Tim, any listings, any fixer-uppers, we're all getting them.
All day long.
Yeah, all day long. So if you're new and you want to pursue one, give it a shot, just to learn.
Yeah,
To craft
know
that
what to
comfort.
do.
Yeah, what not to do, yeah. You know, test them a little bit, you know?
Do the lobbyists for the NAR go after these telemarketers that are blowing our phones up?
Please.
Yeah, I think that's a.
Don't we pay them to go do that stuff?
That's an individual thing, you can sue them individually, right? Do not call list as an agent? I mean, as
I think we're all on the do not call list, it doesn't really make any difference.
Yeah. Isn't there a law firm in town that's really big on that? That's their thing.
The
You know,
problem is a loophole, if you use your number for business, they can actually call it. So that's what we're up against as agents and lenders.
I call it, I mean, when they call me, I tell them I got it.
Yeah, I mean, you could actually say, you know, put me on your do not call list, say you don't want to keep answering them, then maybe just text them back. You know, text them back, put me on your do not call list. So if they call you again, I think that's actually a lawsuit. I think it's
Yes.
$1,500, right?
At that point, yeah.
Did they have this, Darla, they have different numbers every time they call. So
Yeah.
you would block, that doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's
Oh, I see what you're saying.
all the
Yeah.
time.
Robo-dialers or.
You block the number and then you block the company and then they call you from a different number and then you block that one, they
call you from a different.
But you should still answer it, cause some of them that say spam likely, I've had a client, that came up, I said, hey, just so you know, you come out of spam likely, well, I do a lot of phone, and this was a client that went all the way
A
through.
lot of agents come up
So,
spam.
yeah, right, because we text a lot, that's why.
Wow. I mean, interesting, right? Okay, make sure, go to realtygroup.com when you can, check out the website, some cool stuff on there, they're still working on it, but you can find everything on there. An MLS search, find an agent, find a whole bunch of stuff, okay? And then who's going, I think, 10 or 12 of you are already going to the summit, which I found kind of cool.
We're going,
Yeah, right, I mean, and that's just who's in the room. So I think there's others that are
raise that
going.
hand.
Yeah. So, I think we might have, the goal is 100 agents from Vegas show up. That might be a little push.
Well, the flights are about 400 right now, if you, since you get them now, or.
Okay, we want good news, Carol. We don't know how much expensive it is, or, how costly they are.
Talk to me after, I'll tell you how to get them cheaper.
Yeah, but that's our goal, is, if we get 125 from each office, or 100 total, it'd be kind of nice, I think, so, we'll see. Yeah, it's happening again, more money. How many do you do how many do you do the monthly? The monthly every month on your debit card, none of you?
Yeah.
It is? Okay. You really should.
Well, if you miss
I don't
one,
do it,
you are.
and I'm telling you to do it, but I've been that way for
So
17 years.
You don't miss it.
Yeah, I've been that way for 17 years and I'm okay with it. I get this and I pay it immediately. But those of you, that our income goes up and down,
17.
what's it, 120 a month?
121,
120.
yeah.
Okay, I mean, it is what it is. Okay, and it is tax deductible.
But Tim, you can't miss one payment. One time I did, and then they kick you off, and even the next year, like, it's a really hard time getting back on that auto payment,
Is
so
it?
you can't screw it up. Yeah. Maybe it was 2 payments. I don't know, but I'm not allowed. I'm not allowed from auto pay.
You can get a card.
They want your money, trust me, they'll give you time, I think,
Yeah.
So that's coming up in a couple weeks, here's some numbers, gang. The other thing I noticed is this is now lower than it was last year, at least for the median price. So I think we're gonna start seeing a little decline in prices, nothing crazy, I don't
Until
think.
the interest rates come
But,
down, it'll go back up.
But if I was on a listing appointment, I wouldn't say prices are going down, I'd say, Mr. Miller, there's finally a correction in the market. I'm just saying, the words you use make all the difference in the world there, So you say stuff like that, Or finally, the market is adjusting itself to the Fed, when in doubt, blame the Fed, or blame John, or blame somebody, So keep that in mind, that's the last month, if you're curious, month over month, I always throw that in there. I don't know, do any of you subscribe to Home Actions?
I do.
Good. All of you should really hop on this call, it's about an hour, it's one of our vendors, so you get a discount, and it's a really cool newsletter, Yeah, I used to pay for this when I was at Remax, and then it went through some things, and now it's here. And back then it was once a month, now I think it's twice a month.
Do we get it free if I pay?
You gotta pay, no, you don't get it free, but you get a discount, yeah. They used to come in and do a presentation, but the guy locally moved, and they didn't replace him because of whatever reasons, so now it's all on Zoom. So Al Clark, I think he's in Pennsylvania, that's where he is. But it might be something worth sitting through, it's month to month, usually there's an incentive if you sign up on the call, it's, the first 3 months are half price or free or something, then if you don't like it, cancel it. But it's, I know a lot of you do your own monthly newsletters,
It's a good.
and they're great.
Patrick does.
He does, it's phenomenal, okay? I don't have the patience that Patrick has, but he did a lot of the work up front, so it's kind of automatic, the way he does
Carry.
it. Huh? Or Carrie.
Mostly Carrie.
There you go, okay?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so you can save the 50 or 60 bucks a month and do it yourself.
And we have a template too.
And you have a template too, but this is really, I think this is much more professional. In the past, some of the articles were not timely or a little off, but now I think they're all RESPA compliant, and you're not gonna go to jail for the article, something like that, all right, what else we got? Upcoming, a lot of stuff coming up, I'm gonna go through these quick, because John and Heather are talking about. This is later on today, see all the little loan, okay? I don't know if you got any money for this yet, but we gotta get some pumpkins going here, we have plenty of time, but this will be a lot of fun. That's the rev up for any of the new folks in, I think anybody, Cardoza and Cardoza here, it's the only, Jade is kind of new one, but she's on high esteem, so, but that's rev up for those of you. Who's gonna cook chili? To the chili dog.
Susie?
Yeah, my brother Albert. Albert. My son, yeah. Suzanne McCoy, usually we have 8 or 10 of them.
For the, what is it, October 30th?
Yeah, but it's Halloween,
Okay.
so, you know, let's come in.
So scan the QR code, there's a sign up list, you can either bring chili or you can bring one of the sides that's on there, just put the name next to it.
Right, if you come here with no food, we're gonna tell you to leave. Kidding, but, you know, some of you are like that, you know, you participate, but not really.
So last year there was
Yeah.
9, I think there were
There was
9, am I
9,
right, it's
yeah.
9 last year,
Yeah,
so
it was 8 or 9, so.
Does gas station sushi
Yeah,
count?
right.
I'm telling you know, it could, I guess, what the hell, but that's a lot of fun, and we all get, you know, I'm just gonna wear something simple, I can only imagine how these two are gonna get dressed up, it's gonna be, were you in Medina last year?
80.
80, right, and I forgot what you were. Huh? So, yeah, Allison changed, she does all that Megadeth shit, you know, it's all that crazy. Yeah, she really is.
But is there a costume contest then?
Sure,
Okay.
sure.
What's the prize?
Where do you want it to be?
How much thousands of dollars is the prize?
Realty one return.
The winner gets.
A real-
Full. I will come up with a gift card or
Okay,
something, or
all
whatever.
right, very good.
Here's another class that I'm gonna go to, that's gonna be here, Sarah O'Kegel, she's an attorney, and she's not, it's not just probate, it's a bunch of stuff, right?
Yeah, so
Right.
she did a different class, if you took her class last time, this is a different one, so you can still get credit for it. And, she's a great attorney in town, she does real estate and, probate.
Right, and I think it's a law class. So again, it's not one of the general ones, it's one of the ones you need, okay? Like when we had Matthew in, we gave Matthew a break, he was in here forever, Matthew Collins. So he's gone to, I think, somewhere, Berkshire Hathaway or Keller Williams for 3 months, and then it'll resurface, okay? But, this should be a fun class, okay? Summit, we talked about that, Tony Robbins will be there, and Brian Buffini. Those of you that have been to Summit before, I don't think there's gonna be, the magician, the violin gals, on one leg, you know, doing their thing, and you know, all that crazy, all that really cool stuff. I don't think there's gonna be a lot of that this year. I think it's more education. You know, I don't wanna say a more serious summit, but I think it's gonna be a more serious summit.
As long as Terry Crews isn't there.
Because if you've been to the other ones, they've been a blast.
Did they cancel the booze cruise?
Absolutely not. Yeah. But we had Shin Lim, you know who Shin Lim is, right? The magician on the strip. He was one. We had, you ever see the motivational speaker? And it's not funny when I say this, but my sense of humor might make it sound funny. It's the motivational speaker that has no limbs.
Yeah.
Unbelievable, unbelievable, right? How good was this guy, right? Actually, I saw a flyer, he's gonna be at a church here, thing, right? I saw somewhere, yeah. We had, who else? We Erin Andrews, we had
Molly
Shaquille O'Neal,
Poker.
Molly Bloom, the poker girl, okay? All that stuff's gone this year, okay, I think. But knowing Cuba Hill will sprinkle something in there, but I think it's gonna be more, you know, industry focused, so keep that in mind, okay? Well, gang, you know, she is our favorite home warranty gal. Today. There's a wall there, everybody.
Nothing really new on the home warranty front, except for we are still warm. It's gonna be 98 degrees today, guys, and we know that air conditioning units are still failing. They're still not being tested, they can't be tested properly during the home inspection because it's too hot. They're going to not have good differential readings, and so the home inspector is more than likely going to recommend that you have it checked by a qualified HVAC person. Keep in mind, if you guys have listing coverage on your listings, you can use that warranty to have the HVAC person come out, check out the system. Most of the time, it's gonna be a capacitor, a fan motor, a leak in the refrigerant line. Those things are all covered under that listing coverage, so keep that in mind. Another thing I've got coming up, thanks to Heather, she gave me information on CE courses, and so I am submitting this week a course to the division, so I'll have a 1-hour home warranty class. It'll be just kind of nice going the ins and outs of fire coverage, you know, the seller coverage, and just what a home warranty is, what a home warranty is not, setting those expectations with your clients to make sure that you understand everything. So I think it takes, if I submit it in September, it hopefully gets approved in October. So that should be coming up here soon, so I'll let you guys know whenever I've got that class ready, but if you.
And again, if you're on a listing appointment and you're not almost forcing your seller to take listing coverage from a home warranty perspective, unless they have one, you're missing the boat. Another agent's gonna do it and you're gonna lose the listing. So you need to explain to the seller how important the seller's coverage is.
And if you guys, wanna go, role play a little bit on how to present it during that listing presentation, just call me, give me a call, we can go through it really easy. It just really sets you apart, like Tim said, if you may not know that you're competing for that listing, and there could be 2 or 3 other agents, and if somebody else says, hey, I'm gonna give you free listing coverage during that listing and escrow period, and you didn't, you may end up not getting that listing. So the other thing that I'm doing for you guys, and I'm sure you've been seeing them, some of you, when a claim is paid on your client's home, I'm sending you a claims notification. Tells you the property address, the buyer's name, and then what we did the service on and how much we paid. Those are just nice warm calls for you guys to reach out to your client, call them, just talk to them, and you're not shoving real estate down their throat, you're not doing anything like that, it's just a nice warm call for you to reach out to them, letting them know that, hey, I saw that, file a claim, it looks like, you saved $700 or $2,000. Again, just something nice to reach out to them, so keep an eye out for those claims, it says it right in the email subject line too, so.
So, question?
Yes.
So if we have a listing and it's been sitting, say a month, and do you recommend we get coverage now? If we do, since seller's going to pay it anyway at closing, would that cover if something goes wrong from today, like the HV goes out or something, the pool pump or something, would you cover that?
We don't cover pools during the listing and escrow period, but that's a buyer option. But if you put listing coverage on now, and let's say you go into escrow and the home inspection gets done a month from now, and something pops up on there, shoot a copy of that request for repairs over before you go back to the seller, and I can go through that with you.
So, but if something goes wrong prior to you're going under contract, that gray area where
Yeah.
you would cover that?
Absolutely.
See,
Okay.
but this is where take Lisa up on her role play 5 minutes on the phone. Because you don't wanna leave there and the seller says, oh, this is great, Mike, or, where the partner is or Heather, the AC blows, they're gonna get us a new AC. It doesn't work that way, it's kind of minimal coverage to a certain
Yeah, it's
extent.
our core
No pool
coverage,
pump
so.
though?
Yeah.
Huh?
No pool pump?
Not during the listing period, that's buyer coverage.
Okay,
Yeah.
I see, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good
Thank
stuff.
you.
Lisa, everybody.
Yay.
Hey, and the other thing about the listing appointment, besides seller's coverage, use the floor plans for the castle, okay? Because I think a lot of sellers want that and we sometimes forget that. There he is, gang, it's the wind down Wednesday himself.
What have you
John
done?
Morgan.
18 plus people.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have to incorporate a shot. A shot. I'm serious.
All right, we need
At like
a,
5:55.
yeah,
You know,
yeah, we need a house special
Yeah,
shot.
exactly. We'll
Yeah.
come up with little shots.
Good idea.
All right, right, Wayne?
That's an alcohol request, you just have to tell what you want.
There you go, yeah.
We'll make it happen.
Right. All right. So if you haven't been to the wind downs, come. Even if you don't drink, hang out. It's a good time. We have a lot of fun. For the Summerlin, it's the 4th Wednesday. I know we have some scheduling conflicts coming up here in November and December, so we might push those into the first Wednesday to keep those going, but we'll figure those out as we go. So just plan on the 4th Wednesday, and I'll flyer out here probably the next day or so for October. But ultimately, I want to talk about that pie event, okay? The class, stick around for the class. Like I said, either you're going to do it, or when your clients are gonna do it, but someone's gonna free up money to buy more properties. Because it's definitely a buyer's market, so if you can pull money from somewhere and take advantage of it, either you or your clients, we need to. So, stick around for that. But really, this pie event, I talked about it a couple weeks ago. We used to do it for our real estate team when I was running the team, and we'd do it in multiple states on the same day. And it was our greatest event. Every year, all of our agents made the calls. They're trying to give out as many pies as possible, because literally the amount of pies you give out at this event dictate your referral business going forward next year. We use this to set up our referral business going forward, and our team was 65% referral based. Think about that. Over 600 million in production each year at 65% referral base. So, and these are the types of things we did. We did a couple more events through the year, but this was our biggest one. This was our main one. It was easy. We got the pies, we had a taco truck, people came, we'd either do it at a park or our office. It got too big for the office, so we moved it to a park, but your client comes with their family. They eat, they get a pie. It's not just showing up at a door, it's like, here's your pie. If they don't show up, yeah, you're gonna have to go deliver it. But that's the best part about it. It's getting them here, having them stick around, because even if you have 2 people showing up, right? And they show up and there's people everywhere. What are they gonna think?
They're all my clients.
Exactly. You don't have to tell them anything. They're going to assume that this is your event and these are your clients, okay? So that's huge. Leverage this. But the main, the gold in all of this is you get to pick up the phone, especially right now, where the market's at, is you get to call all your clients, your favorite ones, your pre-approved ones that disappeared 90 days ago. You get to call them and not say, hey, just checking in on you to see if you're ready to buy yet. No. Hey, just thinking about you. I'm doing my pie event this year and wanted to know if you wanted to drop by. I can get you a pie. We're doing tacos. It's on a Taco Tuesday. Bring the family. Have some fun. We'll have some photo booths, but would love to see you. Oh yeah, we definitely do. And you know what? We're actually ready to get going again. We want to get started. Okay? Then it creates a different conversation. So the actual call, you call them. You text them and follow up. It was a great call. Glad you're coming. You create an invitation and you send a formal invitation. That's 3 touches. Then you remind them right before the event. Then you see them at the event, and then you follow up after the event. That's 5 touches for one event. And we're your event coordinator. We're putting it on. You just have to show up, hand the pie to your clients when they show up. So take advantage of this. You're buying pies. It says October 10th. I need to talk to the bakery manager here and see what their date is. This is what the Arizona guy, I don't like that. I'm like, it doesn't give us enough time, but I want to see how far we push that out.
Are you getting the pies locally or Arizona?
Right there.
Costco.
Costco.
Oh, there you go.
So you're gonna get a pie and whipped cream, and I suggest you brand them. Get some stickers made, get some cards made to stick to them, thank you, with your branding on them when you hand them.
And you'll pay for that?
No, Carrie, always Carrie. So
Don't ask, right? Right there. You don't
$20
ask.
a pie goes towards buying your pie and the tacos. Now, most of your people that they show up, their whole family's gonna eat way more than $10 worth of tacos, okay? We'll cover the rest if there's an overage, if we need more. But $20 for a pie and tacos just to show up and hand to your people, I mean, that's killer. So take advantage of it. Send me an email, how many pies you need, scan the QR code, send the money. I'll get an updated date when we need it. I'm sure the more pies we get, the sooner they will know so that they can plan for it. But this is a great event.
And what's cool about this game, there's something called the law of reciprocity. Has anyone ever hear that?
Yep.
Right? Like if you do something nice for somebody, their guilt will kick in, and they're gonna probably do something nice for you. Normal people.
Yeah.
Some will give a crap. But that, I think that's how this will work. You know, how many of your clients are gonna get a pie from their realtor?
And some of you haven't talked
I
to
don't
these
think a
people
lot.
in months,
I
and
don't
you
think
feel
a lot.
awkward reaching out.
But if it is 5 of the realtors, you're one of the 5, okay? It's just like me and Wendy send out thank you cards every time someone comes in interviews. That blows their mind. And we send them a thank you card.
Do what other
You
people
know?
aren't doing.
Yeah, it's a little stuff like that, you know? All right, man, good stuff. Woo-hoo. Hey, thanks for having us. Good try, I can really quick.
Oh, yeah, the rates bump back up.
There you go.
They giveth, then they taketh away.
There you go. All right, moving right along. There's Ruggo again, we covered that, where was it? All right, Heather's got a bunch of stuff to talk about, okay? Good stuff, too, okay? So, no rush, what you want to talk about. It is Rocktoberfest next month, so.
Yeah, so I'll just take that, yeah, there's a lot. Okay, guys, hi everybody. So, 10-year anniversary for Rock Title. We always have a give back, a charity every year. So this year it is the Ronald McDonald House. We are collecting at both of our Rock Title offices, so the Russell 215 and then the Green Valley office. Well, that's gonna be on a different slide here. There you go, that's what we're collecting for. So all these things, and I have these printed out by the copier, so if you guys wanna take it, but we love to have you, if you guys wanna drop it off at my office, you can do that too, and then I'll bring it down to our office. So we're doing that, and then the celebration is gonna be on October 28th at 3 o'clock. It's gonna be from 3 to 6. We are gonna make goodie bags separate from what we're collecting. So Also little things that we can give to these families, when they are at the Ronald McDonald House. And we're gonna have the celebration right after, so brats, brews, pretzels, so a little, October Rocktober Fest. So, I do need RSVPs though, so I can get the right amount of food for you guys. So, there is a code right there. And, okay, so I'm gonna do a class October 9th after the sales meeting, so you guys can just hang around. Bring your laptop if you can. The more and more I'm doing my CE classes and talking to you guys, and I am like, do I know this person? And I try to, like, sometimes I'm better with faces than names. There's no picture of you guys anywhere online, there's no bio. So this is just gonna be your personal brand audit. So I'm gonna use ChatGPT with you guys, and we have questions, and I've done this before for agents. Just kind of shows you where the holes are in your profile. So I hope you guys can join me on that. And I have my monthly mastermind the first Wednesday of every month at Rock Title, Russell 215 location. This month, this coming month, our speaker is gonna be Rick Cosgrove, and he is affordable estate planning. I thought that was a clap over there. So, hope you guys can come to that. And other than that, Laura Moran, she is coming back next week. So was on maternity leave, as most of you guys know. So she's gonna be back next week. So we're happy to have that. And that's all I got today. So reach out to me if you guys need anything.
Good stuff, thank you, Heather. Hey, how many of you use ChatGPT to, I don't know, create the wording for your listing, right? Okay. And that's a great idea, okay? I was just on a call, I'm on the risk management committee for NAR, okay? So I was on a call this morning, back and forth with, 100 brokers from all over the country. And they said, we just gotta be careful with ChatGPT unless you've trained it, because I think my understanding is you can train it for you, which you might be talking about in that thing. Because if you just say, write up a nice wording for my listing, blah, 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 it's gonna be gorgeous, but they might have words in there that we can't use, if you know what I'm getting at. So you could just, oh, this is great, and copy and paste it into your listing, and then there's a violation for master or whatever.
You still have to read it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm getting at. Yeah. They were talking about where there was one brokerage, their in-house attorney went to court, and they used ChatGPT to help them understand case studies to defend their agent, okay? And it turned out they were the wrong case studies. And the judge sanctioned the lawyer, and they lost the case because he didn't read it, or he thought the paralegal read it, or whatever. Okay, so trust me, I'm getting into ChatGPT big time, but just be careful.
But to let me add on to that, because my daughter, that's all she does is use ChatGPT for her listings in California. However, there's a little black dash. If you guys are familiar, if you read it and you see this black dash that's not your normal size and not too big, you gotta take that out. There's a few things you gotta do. I can tell you if anyone, because otherwise people that know you, they know that's what you did, and if it sounds too commercial sounding,
I always think you did it.
then, yeah, so there's some tricks to it, for sure.
I always personalize it. I put what I want in there, and then I let it adjust it a little bit, and then I can edit through it.
But
I don't want it to sound like.
And she's saying that
And then edit it.
the more the keywords, the better, the more you have, the more keywords, it's gonna boost it up naturally, the algorithm. So you want all those words, even though it might, to the customer buyer, might sound wordy, but it's gonna put it up higher in social world.
I tell you guys about my buddy in New Jersey that works for Remax, or like childhood friends. He'll send me stuff every now and then. And he sent me an article that an inmate or someone, every realtor should do this. It's a 14-day train ChatGPT or Gemini or Grok, wherever you're using. So for 2 weeks in a row, spend 10 or 15 minutes talking to ChatGPT, so it gets to know who you are. And I think the article suggests some intimate stuff. Not intimate, but you know what I'm getting at. You know, so it actually gets to know you. Okay. So when it composes an email or responds to an email, it's thinking like you. So this stuff creeps me out. Don't get me wrong. You know?
What really creeps you out is when your son is talking to it because you won't talk to it, so he talks.
Yeah, go Mikey, that boy. Yeah, whatever works. Here,
Cool,
you know?
Mike.
So let's use all this stuff, but just be careful. You know, we don't want it to, get us
Study some
violations or in trouble or stuff like that. Okay. All right, she's been silent for a couple weeks. She's not silent anymore, okay? Okay? Kidding. Nothing really bad. But there's a few things that Maria wants to cover. So Maria owns everybody, RTC, compliance,
Okay, you gonna run the clicker thing?
Oh, I got it.
with that?
Well, there's only these two, right?
Yeah, and there should be the other one you wanted to talk. Okay, never mind.
It's there, I'll find it.
We'll find it. Okay, need to talk to you about withdrawals. So let's just pretend that everybody in here is a listing agent, okay? We're getting a lot of you that are withdrawing your listings and getting a new MLS number because it's been on the market for a while. That's great, but don't be, you guys are getting clicker happy. That's what you're getting, it's clicker happy. So you're going in and you're putting your listing into withdrawal conditionally, and then you're sending me a withdrawal form for unconditional. Which is,
Somebody must have recently done this.
okay, so.
Shoot fits.
There's a few of you. Okay, when you do that, what happens is now you're generating paperwork for yourself, is what you're doing, okay? Because we have to go off of the history. So if you click on your MLS and you go into history, everything that's there in history needs to match exactly what's in your sky slope. So when you go in there and you click into conditional, now I need a conditional withdrawal. It's gotta be dated, just like the MLS is, signed by your sellers, put into SkySlope, so that we can then go in and do your unconditional. Okay? So please, don't get clicker happy on me, because today and yesterday and last Thursday, I had 3 agents that went, WC, oh, you didn't get it done on time, so I just put it in T status. Oh, but I'll put it into WC again. Oh, here's my WU now. So now I had to get 2 WCs, 1 T status, and a WU, all for 1 agent.
That wasn't me.
But if you're the seller,
Okay?
what's your thought on your agent? Honestly,
Well, so Tim, okay.
if you were the seller, what would your feeling be about your agent? Honestly, right? Like,
Well, if you
what's
have
the
a
sale
psycho
doing?
seller like I do, believe me,
Yeah.
every other day
But
they change something.
it's just giving you guys more paperwork, and it's then looking bad, because now all of a sudden you're going in with 1 paper, then 2 papers, then 3 papers. So just, if you want to take it out because you want to put in a new MLS number, just upload your WU, your unconditional, into SkySlope and leave it alone. Don't touch anything else, we'll handle it from there.
But so seller asked to withdraw it. This happened to me a while back. They said withdraw it, they're going to prom, they're not gonna be there for a while. But that option was not there on, like when you go to add edit, it was only conditional, so I hit conditional because it
But
was.
that should be your key, if it's not there, that means the broker is the
Well,
only one
I didn't know
that
at the time,
decided.
you know, we already talked,
Yeah,
but I mean, I learned, but at the same time, like now, to get them to re-sign it now, they're not responding to me, so, and I went over there twice. Once or twice, so, they're like moving to prom, so I don't know.
This is happening when you have a listing that's been on the market for a while. But you guys give me an answer. How long would your listing be in ER status, and you've done 1 or 2 price drops, before you might wanna withdraw it unconditionally and put it back on? What's your time frame?
6 months.
3 months?
Depends on the seller.
It really depends on the time.
I had the seller, we waited until 2 days before expiration.
That's okay too.
Yeah, they didn't want to decrease the price, I advised them. And 2 days before expiration, I withdrew it. Maria helped me to do everything properly. And in 2 days, we put as a new one. It's my price.
Right. Yeah.
In 3 days, we go in escrow.
Yeah, the point is that after 90 days, you might wanna consider withdrawing it and putting it back on. You know, rewrite the wording, mix up the pictures, you know, change the front picture so it's different when it hits the portals. You know, maybe the backyard is gorgeous, but the backyard is the main photo, okay?
Not 2 weeks?
Because that's, well, you know, that's too, okay?
But I think
But,
what's super important is that agents can only WC.
Right.
Tim has to
Right.
WU, which means you withdraw unconditionally.
Right.
So what WC is, I'm gonna take it off, they're gonna fix their water heater, blah, blah, and then I'm gonna put it back on. That's what you guys can do. If you're withdrawing it to get a new MLS number, that's the WU form for Tim to do only. I think that's where everybody's getting confused, and that's why they're clicking
Could
on.
you
Goal is
just
to
could you
determine-
just go temporarily off the market if you had to do something like that?
but then it's not a new listing.
Oh,
If the days on market
because
continue.
you're gonna.
Right, I'm saying, so if you want to create a new listing, days on market, start back at 1, you go from ER to WU. We have agents that go from ER to WC to T, then, oh, yeah, you're killing me here, you know? And then the seller thinks you're crazy, like you don't know what you're doing, okay? So, and if you get stuck with that, call one of us before you do it. But she's right, everyone likes to just click and get it over with, okay? But take your time, it's really important, okay?
Okay, we're good? Okay, then the next thing is we're gonna go into the listing agreement, because we're having a little bit of an issue with that. So page 2 of your listing has where you can put in your commission. Okay, so the way that it works is you're gonna put in 3% commission, you're gonna mark it and $800 if you want to charge your seller the transaction fee. Okay, are we good with that? We all know that that's there. If you do not, if you're gonna charge the $800 or whatever, $600 transaction fee, and you do not put it on your listing agreement on page 2, you're not gonna get that money. We no longer use the broker comp form, that notice of broker comp, we do not use that anymore, so you cannot collect.
Okay, so they can't use that form?
To collect money. You can use the form during your
Yes,
presentation,
yes.
but you cannot use that
As
one
proof to get paid.
form to collect your transaction fee if your transaction fee is not on page 2 of your listing agreement.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
does
so
that
they
make
need to
sense?
match.
That's a little confusing.
Right, to be honest with you, I don't like that.
What?
Meaning my point is, when I meet the seller, I tell her about 3 bananas, and then I say there's a transaction fee, right? And then during that process, I send her a net sheet, and she sees all the numbers, okay? What I like to do as an agent is leave that blank. Don't yell at me, please. Kill me, because I have the notice of broker comp form. And if you notice the notice of broker comp form, it explains everything. It has the NRS, whatever, code in there that we have to charge $200 by law. So me as an agent, I'm using that at every listing appointment to reinforce my $800 or $1,000, okay? But do what Maria's saying for now, but I think I'm gonna push, hopefully, that you don't have to put it there and the notice of comp is good enough. Does that make sense?
Boy, then they won't get paid.
Well, no, but that's what I'm gonna fight for, you know.
Yeah,
you know.
right, down the road, but now they
That's
should
what
be
I'm saying, you know, I mean, today, do what Maria's saying,
Well,
but
it's
You know.
LVR, so we're following that,
I think that's us.
you know.
I'm just saying, I think that's us. I think I'm gonna get the crap. I think I'm gonna get the crap about. what
You're
we're-
fired.
I know, right? All right, sorry, that, I said you have been up in a couple of weeks, you know, so.
Okay, so until Tim changes everything, we kind of follow these
Ignore
rules.
it.
You can use the notice of broker's comp, absolutely, as part of your presentation, which we have probably, 50–60% of our agents that are still using it for their presentation. But whatever's on that notice of broker's comp needs to also be here in order for you then to collect it.
That's why you
Because
stress
what
for it.
happens is if it's not there and you do collect it, now you need another form, which is your change order form, and you need to mark it number 6, and you need to put on,
We have more?
you need to put on number 6, seller agrees to pay $800 transaction fee to Realty One Group at a successful close of escrow.
So what if I use that spot blank on the listing agreement and use this,
You can.
right? From the
You can
get-go,
do that.
right from the get-go.
You can do it.
Why would you wanna
Why
do
wouldn't
that?
you just
I'm just thinking outside the box, guys, just bear with me here, I'm
I
just,
mean,
you
it's
know.
so easy to add in 800 on a blank than to do that.
Right.
Right, but what I'm getting at is, again, when I was an agent, besides Doug paying me $27,000 on his $900,000 home, I'm gonna tell him it is a $1,200 transaction fee.
I'm not
He might not be
paying.
excited about that.
That's
Let's
why
be
you
honest.
asked for an interview today.
That's what I'm, yeah, exactly. He might not be, but if I told him that on the phone, when we did a pre-listing appointment, you know what I'm getting at? When I do bring it up again, because he's seen it on the net sheet, okay? But this is just me as an agent. If that was, if I'm hitting them with this $1,200 fee right when I'm having them sign the contract, I think I might get some pushback. That's where that notice of comp form explains what that fee is for.
What happened to transparency?
There you go, practice transparency.
No,
It's
yeah,
invisible,
for
you know,
sure.
That's what I'm saying, so I just think the more forms they sign, the better. That's it. Carry on.
He's fired.
All right, when I get this changed, you guys will be loving it, you just mess with it, you're good, move on.
Okay, so anyway, going back.
Going backwards, yeah. To reality, right, to reality.
Just please make sure we do that, only because until he changes the law.
The law.
What is happening lately is that we're having to hold on to your checks and stuff until you get the change order done for that extra amount. So that doesn't, that doesn't make any sense, on that.
It's pretty scary.
Okay, during negotiations, you now are in escrow, and you have, put into your listing agreement, you're gonna get 3% commission. But now you're in escrow, things happen, and in order to make the deal
I'm
go,
sorry.
you now have to take your commission and you have to drop it to 2%. Okay? Then we're gonna need to have a change order, market number 6. Seller agrees to pay listing agent 2% at close of escrow. And the reason you need that is because your listing agreement is now off, and there's no such thing as an addendum to the listing agreement or anything like that. So any changes that are done on the listing agreement, you have to have a change order done for that, okay? Do we get that?
But, another pet peeve that I'm gonna take up to management, if you represented the buyer and you have 3% and you wind up getting 2.5%, do you have to fill out a form?
Yes.
Do you get it?
No.
No,
No.
no, no.
Because it's, yeah.
So my point is, to make your life easier,
Yes.
if we don't need one for the buyer, why do we need one for the seller?
Because
But I think I'll lose this fight, I'm just saying. But I'm gonna try to make it, just a second. You're doing good, you're doing good. No more interruptions, I promise.
Mia is very good. Every time she's done.
All right, I guess I'm done.
Any rental checks laying around?
I have a ton of rental
There you
checks,
go.
okay?
Hold on, I have a question.
Okay,
So you're saying now that on the buyer side, they sign the BBRA 3%, then you have to do 2.5% for some reason. You don't need to change that at all?
no. You're
But
going
what if you
down.
negotiate and get 4 bananas?
Yeah, they go up.
Goes up, you do.
Yeah, so
But I think you're right, in the beginning we did, there was
Right.
forms for everything.
Yeah, yeah.
Again,
sure.
brokers like me fight for you guys,
Thank you.
minimize the paperwork, and, it wasn't my idea at all, but, it worked out that way, that you don't need it if it goes down.
yeah, if it goes down, you don't need it, but.
Doesn't make
here's what
sense.
You do need an addendum.
Nothing makes sense anymore, like
No.
that.
Not with you today.
You do need an addendum to the BBRA if your original BBRA says 3% and that's it, no transaction fees, and now you decide to charge the buyer a transaction fee, now you need the addendum to the BBRA, mark it on the third box for $300.
They're not gonna like it.
But I don't get it.
Well, why would the buyer be pissed off? Because you didn't do what?
Because
You didn't
have it.
You didn't tell them in the beginning, you didn't tell them in the consultation.
But what if you ask for 3 and said, I'm gonna pick up that transaction fee, and then in the negotiations, they drop you to 2.5? Okay, I'll take 2.5, but now you have to pay that transaction
Oh, that's
fee.
good.
So that's when they're like, hey guys, I'll drop my larger portion, and you just pick up the little portion, so you would need an addendum for that.
Exactly.
And what we've seen a few times lately, Maria sees it more than me, I think some of you are doing a good job that if you put 3 bananas, and the other side's only giving you 2.5, your buyer's paying you that half. A lot of agents just walk away, I don't care. You know, it's 800,000, that's 0.5%, that's $4,000, no big deal. It's $4,000,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
So if you did it right, your buyer should pay that. or pay a 1/4% instead of a half. You know, do everything you can to maximize what you can get. But again, it all goes back to that first 1 or 2 initial consultations that you've told them about this stuff, because no one likes surprises. You know, when you just bought a car, brand new one, a lot of surprises after she bought the car, right? And she's on the warpath. Oh my God. Yeah, it's the whole thing. And that's not right. It's not right. It shouldn't be that way. They kind of held back a little. All right, what else we got, Maria?
No, we good? That's it.
You sure?
Until you change the law,
That's
it.
right, that's right. Hey, Maria, everybody. We got 10 minutes. Don't forget, some of you need posts. Go to Key, we pay for it, it's a no-brainer. That's the training calendar, again, it looks great. I think the other offices are kind of using it too, right? Or starting to. Yeah, so it's catching a little popularity here. We leave this in all the time from Wendy, because this is stuff you guys need to know. I would take a picture of this, leave it on your phone, but it gives you so many things that you should be doing, and reminders of classes, the LVR computer lab, that's free. All that stuff that you should be doing, or when you have time.
Or where to go to get them. Like,
Yeah.
you'll call me for the transaction desk questions, and I just know the basic guys, I've been using it for my business, but to deep dive into changing something or adding signature, just call transaction desk. That's what we pay for at the LVR, so it's just a resource of where to go to call or.
That number at the bottom left should be in your phone, on the transaction desk. Because at 10 o'clock, I think I told you guys, the first 5, 6 years of my business, I'm calling them at midnight. I'm calling them at 11:30, because I messed up something, or something was sideways, and they're there to answer the phone, okay? So
Yeah,
use
if
that.
it's late night, it takes a while, but yeah.
Yeah, it is, it's not immediate, yeah, I'm gonna be, a couple cocktails in, and you know where they You'll wait, got it?
I just noticed something with Rock Title. There's a reason we have a live calendar, because there are changes that happen. So, One Sweet Training is really Realty One's tools, and that's most Mondays, not every Monday. And it's generally at 1, although I know Tim Sams has changed it, sometimes it's at 2 and sometimes it's at 1, so just check the calendar. And then I believe they paused the orientation, but that's for new agents. So instead go to the Wednesday, the first Wednesday of the month.
Right, so, I mean, people get sick, vacations, the end of the year, so if there's something you really wanna go to, Suzanne and Vianney are on top of all this stuff, more than me and Wendy and Heather probably, okay? So you can always reach out to them.
I thought Maria was on Tuesdays, Thursdays.
No, it's Tuesday.
Yeah,
It's
it
the-
doesn't say
does it
Thursday,
say
because it
Thursday?
was Thursday last, like, we had done like 6, 7 months of Thursday.
You actually pay attention sometimes, huh? That girl, very nice.
I pay
So-
attention to
So
you.
Wendy's gonna change that, and it's the 3rd Tuesday of every month,
Yep.
okay? Now, if you guys have a lot of demand for it, she'll do it every Tuesday, right, Maria? I can speak for Maria, but right now it's the 3rd Tuesday of every month.
And it's SkySlope and transaction desk that she goes over.
Correct. All right, kids, let me show you some stuff.
She doesn't text.
Anybody, before I get too sidetracked, have any listings they wanna talk about? Any really new hot properties? The Kessler team, you guys always have a bunch, or?
Yeah, we have a bunch, but none of them are new. They've been in
Okay.
the market for a long time, but I have a really nice one it's of 95 in Rancho, and it's about 1,800 square feet, 4 bedroom with a loft, 1-year-old property. We have it right now at $499. It has a tenant until October 10, and we've had a trouble showing it, so after October 10th, we're gonna lower the price a little bit. The last one that sold there, exactly the same, was $515. So we are lower than anything in the market there, so, you know, if anybody wants, it's a really great house, brand new Richmond home.
What about the Rancho and Jones, between Rancho and
No,
Jones?
Rancho, yeah, between Rancho and Jones on the 95 north.
Britt,
That's
what do you
a
got?
really great one.
I have a rental listing off of Patrick and Buffalo or Durango, one of those. And it's a brand new home, 4 bedrooms, big loft, paved backyard, and it's $2,400 a month and a $400 referral fee.
Wow, okay. If you can remember, go to the lvrj.com today, click business section in housing, big article about rents coming down in Vegas.
Yeah.
Okay, something you need to be aware of, okay?
I need to send that to my client.
There you go. See, 2,400 might be kind of high. All right, gang, besides the valuable gifts we give out, let's see who can get this right. We have 219 listings in this office. If you want MLS, right on the dashboard, my office listings, you click it, it was 200 something. How many of them are more than $1 million?
30%.
I need a number. 10, 12,
10.
27,
60.
86? I got 85.
63.
How many?
63.
63?
I said
8?
43.
43?
10.
28. 28. All right, I'm gonna give the one that was closest first.
18.
85. I don't remember who that was. But I think it was Evelyn. Evelyn, here you go. We have 31, see,
Wow.
we have $31 million listings. How many of them are vacant?
28.
Or not.
Maybe all.
2, 10?
Maybe all.
How many? 31? How many? A number?
50.
15.
Yeah.
11. 11. So again, if I was an agent, I'm putting my ass Thursday to Sunday in that vacant $1 million home and doing open houses. And bringing my laptop, you know, and doing other stuff. I'm not just sitting there watching TV, you know? But,
No TV.
yeah, or I'm putting on their TV, you know, in their beautiful home that can play surround sound music all over the place, you know?
Yeah, talking about $1 million home, we have a really beautiful $1.29 million home. We can do open houses there anytime you want, 89138 zip code, and it's gorgeous.
Oh, that's Summerlin West.
Yeah, it is a beautiful,
what's the
beautiful home. It
address?
is vacant,
Okay,
so if you give us a call, you can do an open house there pretty much any day.
nice.
What's the
nice.
address?
I can't remember it.
My matrix, my office active
But you
listings,
can
it'll be
ask,
on there,
you
you
know,
know?
just come to my
Right.
office, I'll give you
I'll
the
go to the
address.
MLS to get it.
What do you got, Carrie?
Okay, Aliante, 5-bedroom, 4-bath, 1 bed and bath downstairs with a pool, and it is gated. Aliante HOA is about $113 a month, and there's a loft going for $725. It's fully furnished, and that can be negotiated within the deal, but it shows really easy, really nice. It's vacant, he doesn't allow open houses, however, $725 Aliante.
Very nice, very nice. And tell them about yours, Evelyn. Yours is, you know, I don't know where this thing hasn't sold yet.
So I have one, it's a 780, 0.272 acres, no HOA, big pool. It's only a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom. It has another, the garage was converted into a family room, and it has a really nice, dining area as well. 780.
It's one of these older homes on the east side,
Is
no
it Carmel
HOA.
Sky?
It's on Tropicana and Eastern,
Nice
so it's, east left.
The owner is into boxing, he's a boxing instructor, he has a boxing ring on the property.
Yeah, the big one,
Yeah.
that's boxing ring, it's where it can go,
Yeah.
he actually trains people there.
Yeah, it's a boxing
How much,
ring.
Evelyn?
Oh.
780.
780.
Right, so if you want someone that, no
I see it.
HOA, big
Yeah.
property,
And
one
is it
story.
vacant? It is not vacant, also the seller is willing, to, give 20 towards either whatever you wanna use it for.
There's solar on the house, right?
What
Is
is
there
it?
solar?
There is solar, yes.
Is it paid?
What is it?
Is it paid?
The solar, no, they owe 20, so that's why you can
Oh, I
either,
see.
you can use up to pay off the solar, or you can use it for whatever you want, like on the rate, whatever.
Okay, good stuff, gang. All right, I just wanna do this real quick, and maybe some of you that have been around a while, you know you are. If you wanna chime in with some ideas here, you old timers here, you know? But, this is something I saw an article, talked to Wendy about it. When I started in '08, there was 19,000 agents. How many, you started in '05?
Yes.
So there was more, in 21, 22,000 agents, okay, now there's 15, okay? So this doesn't just apply to if you're brand new, like Christina Cardozo, or, where's Tina? Tina's over there. What I decided to do in the beginning, because I wasn't as good as these 19,000 agents, I wanted to compete on working my sphere and being knowledgeable, okay? I wanted to know how many listings were in Summerlin. You know, I wanted to know how many were in Mountain's Edge. You know, I do that every now and then, because they're gonna come up somewhere. And if you can blurt out at a barbecue, you know, where you live in Mountain's Edge, Mikey, it's like there's 214 homes in here for sale. You're gonna look like a genius in front of these people, okay? Because you know these little trivial kind of facts. And I think I would memorize statistics. I would memorize, you know, drive through the neighborhood before going on a listing appointment. I would, in the bathroom, I'm practicing to myself this listing appointment like an idiot, you know? And my girlfriend at the time, we probably broke up 5 times in the first, from 2008 to 2000, I don't know, 15. Because I was just focused on this stuff, you know? And, cause I didn't wanna go back and be a dealer at the MGM. I don't wanna do that. No, I don't wanna do that crap anymore, okay? So I just really immersed myself into it. And I think that's what you need to do, like here, this is the second slide, I think. I went to every Keller Williams, Coldwell Banker free training class from 2008 to 2011 I could get my hands on. Some agents thought I worked there. Swear to God, I was there so often, okay? I was happy at RE/MAX. They tried to recruit me every time, but I went, okay? Because I wanted to get as much of this information as I can, because that's the only way I could be better than Linda Jo, who in 2008 was doing it already 25 years, or something like that. I couldn't compete against her, or Patrick, right? They know what they're doing. I didn't have a clue, okay? So I wanted to do other things, okay? If I told someone I'll call you back in 10 minutes, on my phone I'd set a timer for 9 minutes. When it rang, I called them back. Maybe they didn't notice it was 10 minutes, but some do, you know? So little things like that can make the difference in you getting a listing or the client calling you back. Because a lot of you, I think, get buyer lead calls, and then they crickets, right? They ghost you. Because they found another agent that was better than you on the phone, and they're calling them back, okay?
Say something like
Please.
that, but don't get too caught up in like getting all these certifications either, right? Because I think a lot of agents, instead of actually doing the business, they're at the LVR getting certified for this and this and this and this and this. And it's great, you know, it's great. And we all have some kind of certifications. I have 3 myself, but over 20 years, I have 3. I didn't focus on it. Focus what's important to you, but I think a good one is a negotiating certification. I think we all need that because there's a lack of, like, sometimes we're just like, whatever, just so I can get the deal, but you really gotta do what's best for your client. But the regular classes on how to fill things out properly, how to, like the inspections, and, you know, if you've got a licensed home inspector, like that stuff you need for your business, go to all of those, but don't get too hung up on the certification.
Yeah, I think I have 2. I have the SFR, and I have the ADR. But I know agents, you know them, you see their business card. Thanks. It's literally the alphabet at the bottom of their card. There's nothing wrong with that.
Well, now they're offering free classes on it. Before you had to pay for it, now it's free.
Yeah, just me. I think if I had 14 certifications, I'd put 1 or 2 on my card.
Yeah.
That's
Most
just.
of them don't even do real estate.
They never.
Yeah, that's right. Or they took the class in, 2004,
Right.
Yeah.
and things have changed a little bit since then, you know, so.
Do all of them charge your annual renewal, or just some?
Some of them, the NAR ones, like the ABR, GRI.
Short sales.
Yes, a couple of them, SRES. Remember the CDP? I got that too back in the day. It's coming back. Yeah. So, but I think the biggest problem I had, I don't know if you guys had it, was getting people I knew that liked me, I know they liked me, at least I thought they did, to trust me with their real estate. Because I had buddies that the first 2 years listed it with Steve Hawks, listed it with Ivan Shear. And I'd go up to him, I'd say, Evelyn, I was in your wedding. And you gave, I've known you for 18 years. I play softball with your husband, and you gave it to Steve Hawks. What's up with that? And someone will be honest. Hey, Tim, we love you to death, but you've been doing it a little bit, not long enough. And this is a big purchase, so we went with someone we've known for a long time. So I had to get over that somehow. Okay, and I did that by giving them information. Okay, and returning phone calls and buying them a stupid pie on Thanksgiving. I swear to God, you'd be surprised. Every closing, I used to send them what's the fruit?
Fruitcake.
Fruitcake.
No.
Arrangements.
Edible arrangements. Yes, I had an account with edible arrangements. Okay, they had my credit card. I'd call up, and I always sent it to the job, not to their home. Okay, because I wanted the employees to say, what's up with the fruit, Heather? Oh yeah, that's my agent. And there's always like 5 or 10 cards in it. Okay? And last at the bottom, find your lane. In the beginning, my lane was VA clients. I don't know why. I just stumbled on them because I did loans before that. And then as the market changed, like I think Rita said, short sales came in, REOs came in. Heather has a niche with the senior community. Some of you are Sun City folks, like you're the Sun City Pro. That's what, do that. Find your niche, okay? Because every realtor says, oh, I can do everything. You really can, but I'm not gonna, I think if I got a listing from an agent tomorrow at McDonald's Ranch for $3.5 million, I'd really think about referring that out. I know you might think I'm crazy, but could I do it? Absolutely. It would be hard helping you guys out at the same time, that's why we don't do real estate that much anymore as managers, we're not allowed to. But I would have no trouble farming that baby out and trying to get a really big referral fee. to do it right for my client, okay? Or giving it to John Giuliano at a Red Rock deal. He's Red Rock King over here, or, the country club. You live there too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, but find what works for you, okay? And the last thing I'll talk about is, your social media. Have you Googled yourself lately? Yeah, you should. You should. I don't know, you gotta like what you see, but Google yourself. And make sure Zillow pops up, and Realty One Group pops up, and Homes.com pops up. Not your Instagram birthday party with the dogs jumping in the pool. It's cute, but if I'm a client, I don't give a shit about that, right? I don't know if you know how to do real estate, okay? So all those profiles we tell you about in the beginning, Zillow, Homes.com, Realtor, Trulia, HomeLight, LVR, you need all those profiles set up, okay? Because just like that, our agent that Googled the buyers and found out negative stuff about the buyers are gonna Google you, especially if you're competing against another agent, okay? And you want it to be real estate related, it's kind of important, okay? And last but not least, if I see one more realtor video on Facebook, I was on there last night. Lately I've been on Facebook more since the Mark Civic thing. We all know what happened with Mark, so it seems I'm on there now more. The first Civic I was on there once a week, maybe. Now I seem to be there every day. And last night I saw 10 realtors doing listing videos. Was it Reels? Right? Because Instagram and Facebook are connected. So if you do a reel on Instagram, it pops on Facebook. Is that how it works?
If you said it that way, yes.
Right. I mean, Rena Levy, Steve Hawks, Christina Chipman, Cardoza had something, I think, or maybe it's just a photo.
A listing photo?
Yeah, right.
I had a listing photo,
Yeah, okay, I don't think it was a video.
Or, yeah, it was a contract, under contract photo.
Yes,
Yes,
exactly,
yep.
okay. You need to do that. Well, Tim, I don't like the way I look, I don't like the way I sound. I don't like the way I look. I don't like the way I sound either. But you need to do that stuff, okay? Because people want to see that. They want to see that you're out there.
So the most effective, 80% you, 20% business. So you just have to tie it in. If you, like some of you guys do all 100% business and just homes, but really you're selling yourself, in my personal and professional opinion, it does better. That's where I get all my clients, but I'm selling me, and they see how quirky I am and silly things I do, but for some reason they like it. And not everyone, but the ones that do, they're reaching out, so it works.
You also, that video that the girls got me into with the mouse.
Oh, yeah, that was funny.
Show that.
That was
I would
funny.
like to show.
I think it's scared. I think it's way more scared
I
than the
was.
girls.
Oh my God. I don't like rats. You like rats?
Yeah. Thank you.
The funny thing about it, when they had it there, I shook it real hard, figuring I could kill the mouse, knock it out. And it made all this noise. I said, holy shit, that must be a big mouse. And it is a mouse, but it's a mouse, okay? But my point is, 4,000 people saw it.
Over 4,000 on my feed, just from him, and I just put, this is my broker.
Oh, great.
We have fun in our office, come join our broker. Whatever I said, that's fine,
No, I'm with you, I don't mind it at all.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I didn't ask you.
Then we
I
get
like the
rats.
part where you ran away.
Yeah, I can run faster.
I know.
So my point is, sometimes, even though you're doing the serious videos or the educational videos, do something quirky like that. Throw your dog in there, or whatever.
And I have to say something too, so I have a client that I sold them his dogs over the years here, and then about 3 years ago, they moved to Florida. They just called me about a month ago, and they're like, we have to sell our house, in Florida and move to, I think, where are they going, North Carolina, right? So they need me to find a realtor for them in Florida and a realtor for them in North Carolina. So they're a little bit different, I love them to death, but they're a little different, and they're a little needy, and so I need a specific realtor, right? So I'm just scouring day and night, everybody's social media in Florida that would sell in that area. And what I'm looking for is somebody that actually makes a video that they're talking, because I need to know their demeanor, if they're gonna match with my people. And very few of the realtors there and in North Carolina had it. And so I had 5 to choose from in North Carolina and 3 in Florida.
Did you stay within Realty One?
Yeah, I did, but then I ended up having to branch out because none of them were making videos that they talk, here's an area, here's this, or hey, this is, I help people buy and sell. I needed to hear them to match them with my client. I couldn't just read a bio and say, okay, they were good, right? And they were looking for homesteading and then acreage, and then they have all these animals, and how am I gonna find somebody to list their home? They have 4 dogs, 9 cats, and a koi pond, and then 4 huge fish tanks, which total about 76 fish, okay? But but then they stay at home, and one works from home, and they have a 90-year-old grandmother, there's all these moving parts in there. So I'm like, I need a really patient realtor to sell that listing, but I needed to hear them talk, right? I needed to see how they would treat my clients, and so, guys, I know we don't like to hear ourselves, but really that.
Where did you see
It
that?
does, it makes a huge difference. I hate doing it. I actually hate doing it. I don't like to be recorded. I just get like stuck. Yeah, but I get stuck. Like I'm like, I don't know what to say. But when I do it, it always blows up.
Yeah, and YouTube, where did you see that?
Well, no, I was just Googling them,
Oh,
and then I
okay,
go
yeah.
to their personal websites, and then I went to their Facebook, I went to their Instagram, like
That's where
each
you
of
see
them.
their personality.
It was so much work just to
Yeah.
find these realtors, because nobody was posting anything. There's like a reel of just these homes that they're selling, but they're not talking, there's no picture of them, and cause, you know, a lot of people, their picture looks like this, but it's from 20 years ago. And so I'm like, I need to make it make sense to me, because they're gonna show up and like, wait, this isn't the person that you sent me, and you know, so, it really does matter, guys, your social media, just talk.
And you go, let me piggyback off that, since I'm getting paid on Facebook for my things, I might have 10 likes, it doesn't matter, I'm on it all the time, I'm engaging with other people, stories every minute, and I'm getting paid for all this.
You're an influencer, Gary, that's what you
But-
are.
But you have to, so you guys, when you create a reel, make sure it's more than the 1 minute, it's gotta be 1 minute to post it up, because you don't wanna ever pay, because once you pay, you will always pay, that's what they say.
And last thing, because I know John wants to start his class.
Okay.
On social media, you post something, right, on Facebook, and people like it or they reply. For a long time, I never replied to their like or reply. How stupid is that, right? I mean, is my mind here? People say, oh, I like that, or hey, Tim, or, and I'm just going, oh, to myself, that's great, I'm glad you like it. You're right. You gotta respond to those, okay, and create the engagement, it's really important.
Is it possible to have like you and maybe a couple people who are really good at it, do like a
Sure.
panel?
Sure.
And do that on a Thursday?
Yeah, with Judy and
ask questions
Brittany and Karen.
Yeah, and pull up on the screen what you do, because honestly, I'm a bit of a perfectionist, which I'm sure a lot of people are. I wanna do it, but I wanna do it well. And so it stops me, and then I look probably weekly, all the different, things that I could purchase to edit, you know, like it's.
Well, you'll never get anything
I
put up.
know,
You gotta
but
just
so
do it in the
I go-
moment.
I go down
In the
this
moment.
rabbit hole, and I would
Yeah.
love to just have a couple people do
And
it
you need a
right.
YouTube channel, you have to have a YouTube channel to upload your files too, to get people where they gotta
And
go.
you know what, I started a TikTok, which I suck on, as soon as the camera's in my face, I suck. But I started a TikTok, I had 0 followers, cause I was brand new. So I'm like, no one's gonna see this, so that's how I started, cause I'm like, well, it's just practice. So I was doing I was filming the new construction homes, I was taking videos.
So you'd be good on the panel.
And so if you were to look at my TikTok, I have all this material, probably no one's playing it, but if they were to look me up, I do have a lot of content now, but I had no followers, which was great, because then I didn't have to get self-conscious
even
over
if we
it.
all
And then
became
you can start
followers.
promoting it.
But even if we all became followers, then how do you get paid to do that? Like, it just be
Right,
interesting.
good idea, we'll work on that, yeah, that's a good idea. All right, kids, anything else? Burning thoughts, questions, we're all good? Okay. Irene has a question. Oh, of course.
I don't have, what I say right now, it sounds very stupid. In California, I worked 23 years. I have 4,500 in my database. 300 people, they even do not have emails. They don't like me.
Okay.
Yeah, you need to talk to people. How many people you have business card on the purse? Everybody you talk, give your business card.
Call everybody.
Yeah.
All right, Dan, oh yeah, pick a number from 1 to 17. 7. The winner is?
Not you.
Not us.
From-
And Doug Miller.
Jesus Christ, bullshit. 3 count, you know? Oh, you're sorry. All right, Dan, go get a baby.